في ساحة للعلم كنا نلتقي والحب والإخلاص زاد قلوبنا.
And lift off. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to another exciting live show, guys. Tonight's show is like none other. I'm your host and presenter, Mr. K from the K-Way Institute, here for Qurtuba Online Academy and Hilaal TV. Guys, we got an amazing show packed for you today. I know you guys must be sitting at home thinking, what is this guy so excited about? Our prelims and June exams weren't that grand. Well, I'm here to show you today how easy those papers were, guys. And if you had to be part of our programming from the beginning of the year and you watched all the episodes on YouTube, on the Hilaal TV site, and you attended our workshops, you would have known that at least 80%, I know you guys want to kill me, you guys got bigger stress like the price of eggs at the moment. Chickens are wearing high heels in South Africa at the moment because of the price of eggs. People are actually pawning eggs for M4 BMWs. But we got bigger issues. And your bigger issue right now is what? Mathematics, guys. Maths being your major problem for this year. Now it's an exciting time, also a very nervous and an anxious time. You're thinking, why am I so excited? I'm so excited because I had a look at your prelim papers, guys. I had a look at your prelim papers, and not only did I had the liberty, I had the privilege of marking papers, guys. So I know exactly where you guys falter. And normally at this point of the year, where we normally assume that your basics are covered and we only start focusing on higher order questions, unfortunately for 2023, we are doing the reverse. We are starting from the basics, because if your basics are not right, guys, there is no way that you are going to master that paper. Now, hot off the press, many of you are on holiday at the moment. Right, you haven't even started going through the memos of your prelim paper. You haven't started doing revision at schools. And that's what we're here to do on Hilaal TV with me, Mr. K. We're going to start cracking in tonight's live show, item for item, topic for topic, going through the paper. Now, any battle depends on strategy. If you don't have the right strategy for your war, you're going to lose it. Right? Let's take history. I'm going to go a little bit, I'm going to digress a little into the story of Tariq bin Ziyad. Ever heard of Tariq bin Ziyad? Who was he? He was a Muslim commander who was sent to the coast of Spain to go and conquer, right, Al-Andalus, and to go and conquer Tangiers. He got to the coast. What happened? He went with a small army, and that's who you guys are right now, you matriculants, a small army, and he had to fight a massive Spanish armada, right? An entire cohort of strong men, strong Spanish men. And what did Tariq bin Ziyad do? He had two choices. He either flee, tell his men, look, the army is too big, we get onto our boats and let's go back to where we came from, back to Arabia, or we stay in Spain and we conquer. And what do you think? What choice did he make when he reached the shores? Huh? What choice do you think he made? Do you know what he did? He ordered his followers or his army to burn their own ships. He ordered them, burn your own ships. So he set his own ships alight so that they couldn't flee. They stood, they fought, and they conquered, and they ruled for 800 years thereafter. Now, guys, it's not the first. That's one of the many, many illustrious stories from our glorious past. So what is the point of that? Is that you, the matriculant, the grade 12, you're losing a little bit of hope. Maybe prelim paper brought you down a little bit. Don't stress. You got two choices. You're either going to flee or you're going to stay and fight. And who knows, you might stay, fight, and rule for another 1,000 years in mathematics. So without any further ado, we're getting, keep your calls coming in on the WhatsApp line. Right? And here we go. We're getting a whole lot of questions coming in here. But what I'm going to do, before we even start tackling those questions, let's talk of strategy. Let's talk about the paper. This paper that you wrote. Now, I've got three papers here, right? I've got your Gauteng paper, prelim paper. I've got your KZN paper. And I've got Western Cape paper. I've had a look. I've analyzed. I've studied all three papers. And guess what we found? Guess what I found? That 80 to 85% of the paper were your level 1 and level 2 questions. That means if you found the exam difficult, it means that your basics were broken, right? It was fragmented. It was in parts. And you didn't know in the exam how to put it together. Only 15% of the paper were higher order. So that means, what does that mean? That if you mastered the concepts, if you master our systems, like I'm going to be showing you tonight, in tonight's show, and every Thursday night live, and you are watching every Monday to Thursday on Hilaal TV, channel 347, from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. every night, what am I explaining to you? What is the message that I want to get to you? Master what I show you, whatever we do here on the show, and that will give you ammo. That will give you the armor. That will give you the rockets and the missiles to destroy math. Get 80 to 85% already bagged. Then you can worry about the 15% higher order questions. And that the higher order questions, we're going to leave it for a little later. But what we're going to do right now is we're going to get to this paper. Now the first question that came out in your paper, everybody, from my marking, because I mark matric papers as well, from my marking for prelim exams, right? Everybody got question 1.1.1 and 1.1.2 correct, right? Those were your basic jam peanut butter questions. Where I found was the big problem was, let's take the 20, even before we go into the 2023 paper, I've even got the 2022 final exam paper here. And let's take the inequalities there. And although we've said it, or I've shown it to you on the show 1,000 times, I'm going to show it to you again. Let's get to this question. From the 2022 paper, I'm now going into the final paper 2022, and we're talking about inequalities. The question said x squared less than or equal to 3x. So let's go. The question says, Q for question, x squared less than or equal to 3x. How many marks was that? 4 marks. Now guys, this is your bread and butter questions. If you are getting these questions wrong by now, you are in big trouble in your final exams. So let's get started. Right, what do we do? What do we do? We now take this x. Please do me a favor. Do not take the x squared on that side. Take the 3x on this side. So you're going to have x squared minus 3x. Remember, positive 3x will come on this side as minus 3x less than or equal to 0. Right? Taib. In Arabic, they say taib. I learned that at the EMS conference this weekend. One of the great scholars that came from overseas, after every sentence, he says, taib, jaid, good. Right? You all understanding? Excellent. So we're going to put a tick there. So you all understand the right-hand side must be 0. And make a note of that on the side. Your right-hand side must always be 0. Do you know what I found when marking in the papers? Learners took it over onto the left-hand side. They made the left-hand side 0. And that's where the first point of mistake was. Hear me out. You'll see it when we do it in the next one, when I do the prelim question, where the right-hand side, you make 0. I went through a whole host of papers. Left-hand side 0. Left-hand side 0. After that, they messed it up completely. Okay, so don't make those mistakes. Right-hand side must be 0. Now we factorize. X into, we take out the highest common factor, x minus 3 less than or equal to 0. So we've got two factors less than or equal to 0. What are our critical values? What are our critical values? Our CVs. X is equal to 0. These are our CVs, guys. Our critical values. X is equal to 0 or x minus 3 equal to 0. X is equal to 3. So that means, what do we do now? We make a parabola, a positive parabola. You put the lower critical value first, the higher critical value second. Many of you didn't do this in the exam. And that's why you lost marks. It was 4 marks. You only got yourself 2 out of 4. Now, it's less than or equal to 0. Any number less than 0, I'm writing it here on the side. Any number less than or equal to 0 is negative. I mean, common sense. That's not rocket science. Any number less than 0, is it positive or negative? Negative. Right, what's the rule? What's the rule for negative? Bet, between. Negative, between. You guys went in the paper and wrote your signs in all different directions. I mean, it was a freak show, right? negative between. So that means between these 2 points here, between 0 and 3, x must lie between, because any value between would be below your x-axis. All you do, guys, listen. It's simple. Listen to me. Pay attention. Copy and paste. There's x, there's x. There's 3, there's 3. There's 0, there's 0. X lies between these 2 points. Use the same sign. The arrows go in the same direction. And that's your final answer. Was that so difficult? Come on, guys. This was places where you ought to have scored the marks. All right, so now this is the negative. So negative, negative, between. X goes between the 2 points. Copy and paste. X, X. 3, 3. 0, 0. Use the same sign. Less than or equal to, less than or equal to. We got a whole lot of questions or testimonials coming through on WhatsApp saying, Mr. K, I got 146 out of 150. I got 148 out of 150. Thank you for your systems. We used your systems. We got it right. Now, if you are not going to listen to what I'm going to tell you today and not follow what I say, you're going to have challenges. I'm not saying mine is the only way to do it, but here's a model that I'm giving you. Use the model, get the right answer. So there we go. So now you might ask, what if it was positive? What if it was greater than or equal to 0? Let's take the same situation and let's say greater than or equal to. Greater than or equal to. Greater than or equal to. Right. So this all changes. That all changes. Would you agree with me? Right until here, it's exactly the same, and it's no longer negative. It's greater than or equal to. It's positive. So we had bet, negative between. So pos for positive, we've got the word or. So now you put the word or here. You put x greater than or equal to, if there's an equal to sign on the right, greater than or equal to, or x less than or equal to. So the arrows point in the opposite direction, right? And now all you do is you take the 3, the bigger number, and put it here, and take the smaller number and put it there. Finish. That's your final answer, and you would have got full marks for that. Okay? So there we go. Pos or neg bet. Positive, we use the word or. The arrows point in the opposite direction in your final answer. Negative, between. X lies between the 2 points. The arrows point in the same direction. I hope you got that and I hope you're enjoying it, right? So one of the questions that came up in here, sir, can you do the one that came out in our Gauteng prelim paper? So let's take that one and let's see whether you guys can do it. Okay, so the question here in Gauteng's paper, the inequality that came out. I hope you took this down. Guys, this year will be uploaded tomorrow onto YouTube, so you can go to Hilaal TV, watch this over and over and over again until you understand it fully, right? Please remember, guys, on the 14th and 15th of October is the live 2-day workshop, which we will be broadcasting. You can inquire from Hilaal TV or from OCAF South Africa. We are broadcasting 2 days intensive training, free of charge, to any matriculant in this country on the 14th and 15th of October. We'll be beaming from Durban, right, from KZN here in South Africa. Let's go. And we will be doing all the types of questions in full preparation for your final exams. We don't have much time. We've got about couple of weeks to go, and you are into war already. So let's take the one that came out of your paper. Right, so we say 15x, watch this, 15x minus 4 less than 9x squared. Right, for 4 marks, solve for x. What did the question say in the exam? Solve for x. That's it. That's it. Now, doesn't this look very similar to the previous one? Only thing in the previous one, what did we have? We had highest common factor. Here we've got a trinomial. What did I say? Must the right-hand side be 0 or the left-hand side? What you guys did in the paper, from marking your papers, you took everything from the left and brought it to the right. And that was your first mistake that you made. That was the first mistake you made. You take this and take it to the left. Listen to what I'm telling you. So let's take this on that side. Right, so now we got minus 9x squared plus 15x minus 4 less than 0. Your right-hand side must always be 0. Didn't I say that? So listen to me. Do what I say, get the right result. Let's go. I know I sound like a teacher now. I'm shouting you. Right, it's right. Because at this point of the year, there's no Mr. Nice Guy. You just listen to what I say. Do what I tell you to do. You'll get the results and you'll get the 100% like the learners who got 100% after watching our show last year. Okay, so let's go. Now, let's divide by negative. Let's divide by negative. So what do? So that becomes 9x squared minus 15x plus 4. Because we're dividing by a negative sign, the sign changes over. So now it becomes greater than or equal to 0. Yes? Everything all good? You understanding? We brought it to the left and we divided by negative 1 right through. So all the signs changed. Now we factorize this. So now what do? What are our factors of 9 and our factors of 4 that when cross-multiplied will give me negative 15? So let's try. Factors of 9, 3 and 3. Factors of 4, 1 and 4. Let's cross-multiply. 3 times 4 is 12. 3 times 1 is 3. Ting, 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 ting. It works. Negative 12, negative 3 gives me negative 15. And negative times negative is a positive. So yes, my last sign is positive. So here we go. That is our first bracket. That is our second bracket. Right? I like to do what I call Mr. Snotkop. If you guys have been watching us before, I'll show you Mr. Snotkop. What is Mr. Snotkop? If you still don't know how I did that, let me show it to you. You know a Snotkop. There's Mr. Snotkop. There's his eyes. There's his nose. There's his mouth. Snotkop, he's crying, 2 tears. There's his snot going into his mouth. I mean, right. So we're going to use Mr. Snotkop to factorize. What are his eyes? What are his eyes? So here we go. Here's Mr. Snotkop. You can use Mr. Snotkop here. Right. His eyes is the first and the last. 9 and 4 are his eyes. Nose is a cross multiplication sign. What goes in the mouth? Negative 15. There we go. Eyes, nose, mouth. Now, what are we short of, guys? What are we short of? We are short of these tears and we're short of his snot. Right? I know, graphic, disgusting. Right. Factors of 9, 3 and 3. That's his first set of tears. Factors. Factors of 4, 1 and 4. Cross multiply. So we got the tears, eyes, nose, mouth, tears. Cross multiply to get the snot. So 3 times 4 is 12. 1 times 3 is 3. We need to get minus 15. So that must be negative 12, negative 3. Now don't forget, negative times negative is a positive. Negative times negative is a positive, and my last sign is positive. So there's your first bracket, there's your second bracket, 3, 1, 3, 4. You guys messed this up royally in your paper. So let's go. Let's do that. Let's do that. Greater than 0, 3, 1, 3, 4. 3, 1, 3, 4. X, X. Right, both of them are negative, but if one was positive, one was negative, you'll start in the middle. 1 times 3 is 3, you need negative 3, you put a negative. 4 times 3 is 12, you need negative 12, you put a negative. And there we go, fully factorized. What do we need, guys? What do we need? Critical values. Yes, I know you're all screaming it out aloud. What are your critical values? 3x minus 1 equals to 0, or 3x minus 4 equal to 0. 3x is equal to 1, x is equal to 1 over 3. 3x is equal to 4, x is equal to divide by 3, 4 over 3. Now we do that. We go back to Mr. Pos or neg bet. Lower number first, 1 over 3. Higher number second, 4 over 3. There we go. Critical values. Greater than 0 is positive. What did I say for positive? You use the word or. So we put or. X greater than, there's no equal to, or x less than. Opposite directions. Bigger number here, 4 over 3. Let's make that 4 better. And smaller number here, 1 over 3. And there we go, guys. That is the end of the question. Now, I hope you guys can all see it. I'm just going to move over here to the side so you guys all get a good view of this. Right? Take it down. It was 4 marks and it was marks for jam. It was marks for jam. You could have got full marks for this. Okay, before we get to Kia, now Kia sent us a question here. Kia, don't worry, your question is still here. I'm going to do your questions when we do sequences and series. I first want to do your first set of questions here before we hit the sequences and series questions, Kia. So just bear with me. Bear with me and see whether you guys can get these inequalities right. Okay, you cannot afford to mess this up in the exam. Okay, so there it goes. We're done with this. I hope you've taken it down. Now they gave you a third. They gave you a third, and let's see. Again, many of you messed this up royally. It was a simple, straightforward third. Guys, this was no rocket science. Let's go. Let's go. Right, we've got about 4 minutes to go before we're going to cut for break. You know, time flies here, guys. Thanks for all. I've got my tablet right here in front, and I see all the comments that are coming. Loving the show. Thank you so much. And I hope you guys are learning, and I hope you guys are practicing. Guys, don't forget, 14 and 15 October, the live broadcast, Maths Paper 1, Maths Paper 2. So let's go. The next question that came out, here goes. Square root of 2x minus 2 minus square root of 7 minus 2x is equal to 1. Now, I don't have the memo. I'm working here with you as if we are writing the exam together. The same way, hopefully, that I would attack it in the exam is the same way I'm showing you. So let's go. Right. The first thing we're going to do, we can take this on the other side and we can square it, or we can square both sides. Let's just have a look that the question is correct. The square root of 2x minus 2 minus 7 minus 2x is equal to 1. So let's see, what are we going to do here? Question, answer. Right. Let's see. Let's square this side. Let's square the whole side, and let's square the other side. So what are we going to have? The square root of 2x minus 2 minus the square root of 7 minus 2x all squared is equal to 1 squared. We can square both sides. Okay, now we are squaring a binomial. So what do we do when we square a binomial? So this is exactly if I had a plus b all squared. What would I do here? I'd square the first term, a squared. I'd square the second term, plus b squared. I'd multiply the 2 and times it by 2. So it will be ab times 2 is plus 2ab. You all agree with that? That's the system. A plus b all squared. So we got a minus b all squared is equal to 1. So let's apply that. Let's apply it. You guys can try. Those of you from different provinces, if you're watching this, try it on your own. See if you can get it right and see whether you are geared for your final exams. So let's go. So if I squared the first term, I'll be left with 2x minus 2. That's if I squared the first term. If I squared the second term, let's put this is equal to 1, right? 1 squared is 1. Let's square this. We are left with positive. So we just left with 7 minus 2x, right? Because negative squared is positive. Square and square root will cancel out. You're left only with 7 minus 2x. But that's not it, because we still need to multiply the 2 inside the brackets, right? And times it by 2. So this is equal to minus 2 into, and now we multiply these two. So it's 2x minus 2. 2x minus 2 into 7 minus 2x. And there we go. We've removed the square. We've removed the thirds. We still got a third here, but relax. We're going to get to it. You carry on with it. Now. Right, let's collect our like terms. 2x minus 2x cancels out. Minus 2 plus 7, so we left with negative 2 times the square root of 2x minus 2 into 7 minus 2x is equal to 1. Minus 2 plus 7 is 5. 5 will go on to the other side as negative 5. Okay, now minus 2 times the square root of 2x minus 2 into 7 minus 2x is equal to 1 minus 5 is negative 4. Right, let's divide this side by negative 2. Let's divide that side by negative 2. Right, so we got the square root of 2x minus 2 into 7 minus 2x is equal to negative 4 divided by negative 2. Divided by negative 2. So negative divided by negative is a positive. 4 divided by 2 is 2. Now we square the side again to get rid of that. And we square that side. So we're left with 2x minus 2 into 7 minus 2x is equal to 2 squared is 4. There we go. You following me? You working with me? Grade 12s, you know what we're doing. We're cutting for break. I'll see you. Carry on during the break. I'll see you guys immediately after the break. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, grade 12s and South Africa and the world, whoever is watching the show, welcome back. I'm your host and presenter, Mr. K from the K-Way Institute here for Qurtuba Online and Hilaal TV. Guys, I left you with a question here. This question just, I hope you guys are enjoying the show because this question that we put up here just lit the studio on fire. Right, the show is on fire. Okay, I know, bad one, let's go. I'm not allowed to say that on Hilaal TV. Right, let's go. Here we go. What did we do? What did we do? What did we do? I actually thought I was wrong. The memo did it completely different. The memo did it completely different. I just did it the way I saw it. And guess what? Like a glove. It worked out perfectly. Watch here. I didn't. What the memo did is they took this on the other side and then squared it. I didn't do that. I left it here and I squared both. So we squared the first term, just to show you, we squared the first term to get that. We squared the second term to get that. We multiplied the 2 inside the brackets. There we go. We multiplied the 2 and we times it by 2. There we go. All we did now, we simplified. Positive 2x minus 2x. Minus 2 plus 7 was 5. 5 went on to the other side as negative 5. So the minus 2 plus 7 was out. What was I left with? I was left with that. So here we go. I just copied and pasted that here. And that 1 minus 5 was negative 4. So let's just go back to where we stopped before break. Right. This is the moment of truth, guys, to see whether you guys got this one right in your exam. Right. Divide by negative 2, divide by negative 2. That gave me 2, right? So if I divided this side by negative 2, and I divide that side by negative 2, I got 2. Now we need to get rid of the third side. So I squared it again. So you square. I squared this side, I squared that side. So now that and that will cancel out. What am I left with? I'm left with 2x minus 2 into 7 minus 2x is equal to 2 squared is 4. Now we FOIL this out. First, outer, inner, last. My 2 first. 14x. My 2 outer, minus 4x squared. My 2 inner, minus 14. My 2 last, plus 4x. Minus 4 is equal to 0. Let's go. Minus 4x squared. 14 plus 4 plus 18x. Minus 14 minus 4 is minus 18 is equal to 0. Let's divide by negative. I'm going to move over here to the side, guys, because of space. So I'm now going to have 4x squared minus 18x plus 18 equals to 0. I just divided by negative 1. So all the signs change. Divide by 2 again. Let's divide it by 2 to simplify it. 2x squared minus 18 divided by 2 is 9x plus 18 divided by 2 is 9 is equal to 0. We get back to Mr. Snotkop. Here's he again. Here's he resurfacing. Mr. Snotkop just doesn't want to leave us. There's he. Showing his head again, one more time. So let's do it. 2, factors of 2 and factors of 9, that's the i's. When cross multiplied to give me minus 9. So that would be 2 and 1, 3 and 3. Let's see. 2 times 3 is 6. 1 times 3 is 3. Minus 6 minus 3 gives me negative 9. Negative times negative is a positive. We get a positive. Like a glove. 2, 3, 1, 3. So let's go. 2, 3, 1, 3 equals to 0. X, X. Both of them are negative here again. Negative, negative. X is equal to 3 over 2 or x minus 3 equals to 0. X is equal to 3. Right? We can then check it, which one is applicable, which one is not applicable. You'll check which one is valid and which one is not valid. But Up to here, you'd already get your marks. Now, take this one down. Take this. This one came out of Gauteng prelim paper, right? Guys, you are sending your messages. Let's acknowledge you. Kia, we acknowledge that we've got your question here. Bear with us. I promise you, through our series of live shows every Thursday, we will tackle your question, right? But I don't want to jump from calculus to number patterns to finance all in one show. Let's try and go a little bit systematic so that we follow a certain train of thought. Right, Kia? So, Kia, big shout out to you. Thank you for sending it in. Keep your comments coming. Keep your questions coming, guys. Skybob, we've got you. Calculus, yes, we've seen it. You'll get it. Rahma, welcome to Rahma. Big shout out to Rahma who sent in question. Oradi, thank you for those questions. Love the questions that you guys sending it in. We will be going through all these questions. Chifiwa and Zengani from Chivasi Secondary School needs help. Salam student, Al-Fajr, former student, want to learn how to find the gradient of a line. We will be going through all of this in our series of in our weeks. We won't be able to do everything today. Okay, now, the next question. Come on, matriculants. I hope your papers are all open. I hope you've got your books with you. Let's see you do the next one. Now, the next one is a little bit of a trick, right? I hope you've taken this one down. And like I said, guys, you can watch it on the Hilaal TV YouTube link. Tomorrow it will be uploaded. You can watch this over and over and over again. I know I talk a little bit fast, but I have to. We got limited time. I wish that we could sit until 3 o'clock this morning, but yeah, this is a live show and we got limited time. So yeah, bear with me and let's kill it. Let's crack it. Watch the next one. Now the next one beat everyone. Let's see, did it beat you or will it beat you from KZN or Western Cape? I know Gauteng, this one hit everybody for a 6 in the paper. Right, but it wasn't a difficult question. It wasn't a difficult question. Watch what they said. They said, if P is equal to the square root of x plus 2 over the square root of 16 minus x squared, for which values of x will P be real? For which values of x will P be real? And it was for another 4 marks. And this gave you a total of 24 marks. If you attempted it correctly, you used the correct system, you used the correct process. Guys, it was 24 marks for jam. Let's see. What do? We know for a value to be real. Now listen, you guys again messed this up in the exam. Some of you went and took x plus 2 and said less than 0. Some of you just said greater than 0. No, for something to be real, you know, for something to be real, delta must be greater than or equal to 0. Not just greater than 0. Some of you in the exam just wrote greater than 0. Wrong. Some of you just said less than 0. Wrong. Some of you said equal to 0. Wrong. It's greater than or equal to 0. So let's see. Now we've got 2 underneath a third sign, guys. We've got 2 values underneath a third sign. So here goes, in our answer. That's your question. That's your answer. X plus 2 must be greater than or equal to 0. Greater than or equal to 0. Delta, the discriminant, whatever is underneath the third sign, must be greater than or equal to 0 for roots to be real. Agreed? Agreed. Taib? Jaid. Let's go. X greater than or equal to, the plus 2 will come on the other side, negative 2. There we go. That's your first one. That's your numerator. We still need to do the denominator. Now watch here. So this is scenario number 1. What about scenario number 2? 16 minus x squared, greater than or equal to 0. You guys messed this one up again. Huh? Because if you just had to follow the rule of inequality that I showed you earlier, you would have got full marks for this. Let's go. How did we do this? Flip it over, minus x squared plus 16 greater than or equal to 0. Divide by negative, so x squared minus 16 less than or equal to 0 because we are dividing by negative 1. Agreed? Agreed. You smiling? Good. Right. Now we factorize that as a difference of 2 squares. X minus 4, plus 4. So my two critical values is plus 4 and negative 4. Again, we go to that. We put the bigger number there, smaller number there. It's less than or equal to 0, so it's negative. What did I tell you? Between. Neg bet. So x must be here. So x, 4, negative 4, less than or equal to, less than or equal to. There we go. Now you've got 2. You've got the first one here, greater than or equal to minus 2. And you've got that one there. So I'm just going to move over here to the side. You got x greater than or equal to minus 2. Right, so let's go to a number line. If we drew a number line, right, that's negative 2. It's greater than or equal to minus 2. You've got the second one here. You've got the second number line here. And you've got it between minus 4 and 4. So let's say that is 4. And let's say that's minus 2 there. So let's say negative 4 is there. And x lies between these 2 points. So it's a closed circle there, a closed circle there, and x lies between the 2. So there's scenario 1. Here's scenario 2. What do? Obviously, we see where they overlap. Where do they overlap, guys? They don't overlap here. They overlap there. Between minus 2 and 4. So what is your final answer? X less than or equal to 4, but greater than or equal to minus 2. And there we go. You can't say right up till negative 4 because there's no overlap between the two number lines here. The overlap is here between negative 2 and 4. So you had scenario number 1, you had scenario number 2, and you had to check where they overlap. So this was a double inequality. Okay, so it wasn't a difficult one. You had to make sure x plus 2 greater than. If you didn't do this last part, you would have at least, even if you did that and got that right, and you did this and got this right, but you didn't get the final step right, you would have got 3 out of 4. You would have got 3 out of 4 in your paper, which is a good, out of 24, you would have got 23 marks. You would have got 98% for your algebra. You would have only lost 1. But many of you didn't even, you started incorrectly. And yeah, well, you know exactly where we ended up with it. Okay, but yeah, I hope you guys are enjoying the show. Thanks for all the comments that are coming through. You guys are loving the show, right? I hope you are taking all this down. Okay, let's go on to the question. So, let's tackle one. This one here didn't come through so clear. Who is this? Who sent this one? This one came from Aura D. Okay, so Aura D, I don't know how much time. Maybe studio can tell us, give us an indication as to how much of time we've got left. Let's go into, there was a heavy differentiation question. It came from another province, right? A derivative question. Maybe we can do it now, right? Let's do it now for Aura D. So at least Aura D can smile. So I hope you've taken this one down. Thank you, guys. Okay, so we've got some good time. We've got about 12 minutes left for the segment, and the show is over. So let's tackle Aura D. Aura D, let us know, hit us up where you are, where you're from, so we know exactly where you're calling from. Right, so Aura D sent a question here, and she gave us this question. She says, find the derivative, dx, open brackets, let's go, the square root of x cubed, sorry about my language, the cap's in my mouth, plus 3 square root x squared over the cube root of x squared. There we go, Aura D. That was the question, guys. How many marks was this question? I don't know. Let's close it up. There's no mark allocation, but I would say a question like this is about 4 marks. Aura D, am I correct? Right, you didn't send a mark allocation for this one. Right, so I hope you guys can all do this, and I hope you're all enjoying the show and you're learning. This forms part of calculus. The first part that we did was the algebra component, grade 12s, you know what I'm talking about. Now we go into calculus. Now, what is the rule of calculus? The rule of differentiation is B, D, A. Right, before, B for before, D for derivative, and A is for after. Right? Before death, death and after death. So before, we need to get it into a straight line. We need to get it linear using our rules of exponents. Derivative power rule. Take this down. After, you need to write it with positive, you need to write your answer with positive exponents of positive powers. Right, so we do it in 3 parts. We do derivative, we do differentiation in 3 parts. B, D, A. You'll pick this up from our previous shows, or you can check it up there on the Hilaal TV, on the Qurtuba online. Watch all our previous episodes. And you guys have been watching it through the week, right? So I hope you guys are following and are practicing. This is actually one of my templates that I show you guys on our system, right? So let's go. The first thing we need to do is B. Before, let's get it linear. So we're going to go dx, x to the power, inside divided by outside. I still cannot believe that matriculants still don't know how to remove surd signs, right? It's your inside power divided by your outside, not your outside divided by your inside. Okay, so it's 3 inside divided by outside. So x to the power 3 over 2 plus 3 divided by 1 is 3. Here you're going to have x to the power 2 over 2, which is 1, over, remember 2 divided by 2, 2 divided by 2 is 1, over x to the power 2 over 3, 2 over 3. So we got dx. We are simplifying. We are simplifying. This is still the before part. This is still the before part. We are simplifying. So let's go. X to the power 3 over 2 plus 3x. We're dividing and bases are the same. We subtract the powers. 1 minus 2 over 3. 1 minus 2 over 3. 1, 3 over 3 minus 2 over 3, which is equal to 1 over 3. So that's x to the power third. There we go. Linear. Right? Or Adi, wherever you're calling from, let's see where you're calling from. Send us Limpopo. Limpopo in the house. Well done. And I hope you're enjoying it, or Adi. Give us a thumbs up and hit us up in the comments. Let us know how you're finding the show. Right. So here we go. That was the before part. So we're done with the before. Now we go into derivative. The power rule, or Adi. What is the power rule? Power times coefficient minus 1 from the power. So now we say this is equal to. Right? Now we are applying the power rule. This was the before part, the B. This is now the derivative, the power rule. Power times coefficient minus 1 from power. So 3 over 2 times 1, 3 over 2x. Now 3 over 2 minus 1. So 3 over 2 minus 2 over 2, right? 3 over 2 minus 1. I'm just going to go over here to the side. Remember, don't forget to subtract 1 from the power. So 3 over 2 minus 1 is 3 over 2 minus 2 over 2, which is 3 minus 2 is 1 over 2. That's to the power half. Right? Power times coefficient minus 1 from the power. Now again, do this for the other term. A third times 3 is plus. A third times 3, 3 times a third is 1, x. A third minus 1. 1 over 3 minus 3 over 3 is minus 2 over 3. There we go. Right, so that was derivative, the power rule. Already, you following? You're following. Let's see your comments. I hope you're following and I hope you're enjoying the show. Is that our final answer already? No. What must we do? After the last part, we need to write our answer with positive powers. So what do? Let's go to our final answer. So B, D, A. Now don't go and write B, D, A in your exam. Your teacher will write what the frog, WTF. Right. This here is for your understanding. B, before. D, derivative. A, make sure it's got positive powers. So 3 over 2, x to the power half. Let's say, x to the power a half. Plus positive powers, 1 over x to the power 2 over 3. And there we go. That's your final answer. A question like this, 4 to 5 marks already. And I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope you get a question like this in the exam. And I hope you get it right. Okay, so that was the one. Let's see from Gauteng, which derivative did they give? Ah, they gave something similar for 5 marks. Let's end up with this. Right? Perfect, perfect. It took us 6 minutes to do this one. Let's see how good are you. Grade 12s, are you ready for the next one? Right? Western Cape, Limpopo, Northwest, Northern Cape, Western Cape, KZN, Mpumalanga, Northwest. Are you guys ready for the next one? This is the one that came out in Gauteng's paper last week. Okay, so I'm erasing that. Here we go. We're going to use the same system, BDA. BDA. Before death, death and after death. Get it in a straight line, power rule, write your answer with positive powers. So let's see what's the question that came out in Gauteng's prelim paper. Right. Yeah, but I talk a lot. Shoo, I'm tired of my own voice, brah. Let's go. Question, f of x is equal to, guys, you guys messed this up, minus 1 over x all squared. Guys, this was the question. Come on, guys. This is not rocket science. Anybody can get this right. Follow the system. Know your rules of algebra. Know your rules of differentiation. That's it. Right? Marks in the bag. Let's see. Come, I'll give you a couple of seconds while we go through this. So we've got Zengani. While I'm going through some of the shout-outs, right, I want you, grade 12s, to start working on it now. I know you're not going to work later on. You might as well work on it here in the show. Right, Zengani from Chivise Secondary School. Big shout-out to you. Rahma, let's see, what was your question? Determine the minimum distance. Oh, beautiful question. I love this question. Is equal to x squared. Okay, don't worry, Rahma. We're going to get to that question. Let's go. Let's see how good are you. I'll give you guys a minute. Right? Remember, your mark allocation divided by 2 is equal to your time. Grade 12s, listen. Your mark allocation divided by 2 is equal to your time. So if it's 5 marks, you've got 2.5 minutes to do it. Right? But because we don't have so much of time here on the show, I'm going to try and give you, I'm only giving you 60 seconds to do it. I'm going to have a sip of water and then we're going to crack it. Let's see. Who's the boss? Guys, you got to know your stuff, man. You got to know your stuff. Do you know? And I'm going to be very blatantly honest. All your papers, I had a look at KZN, I had a look at Western Cape, and I had a look at Gauteng. Your papers could have been done. Your 3-hour paper could have been finished in 1.5 hours. You could have done this paper twice in your exam and got 85% for it. But no! Anyway, let's leave that topic for another day. Let's go. Let's go, let's go, let's go. So let's go. So we got f of x is equal to, so it's f of x, so when we do derivative, we're going to say f dash x. Okay. So now, let's go. This is going to be 2, x to the power 1 over 2, 1 over 2, right, minus, in fact, you know how I would have done it? Okay, you can do it like this. Let's say x to the power minus 1, right? We're going to bring that up to the top, all squared. Okay, there are many ways. In fact, there are about 3 different, just looking at the question now, I'm looking at 3 different ways of doing it. But okay, let's go with my gut. I'm just using my gut, and let's go with the gut. Okay, let's go. Again, f of x, we need to remove the brackets. We square the first term. Square the first term, so 2 squared is 4. X to the power, we're raising a power to a power, so we multiply. A half times 2 is 1. Agreed? I squared the first term. I squared the second term, plus x to the power minus 1 times 2 is minus 2. There we go. I need the middle term. What do? I multiply the 2 terms, and I times it by 2. All right, we got 1.5 minutes, guys. So 2 times... 2 times minus 1, minus 2 times 2 is minus 4. X. We're multiplying and bases are the same. We add the powers. A half minus 1. We add the powers. A half minus 1 is minus a half. And there we go. We've removed the brackets. We squared the first term. We squared the second term. We multiplied the 2 and we times it by 2. It's like x plus h all squared. X squared plus 2xh plus h squared. Same thing, right? Now we say, therefore, f dash x, we don't have much time, f dash x is equal to 1 times 4 is 4, x to the power 1 minus 1 is 0, negative times negative is a positive, 4 times a half is 2, x, minus a half minus 1 is minus 1 and a half, minus 3 over 2, negative 2x, minus 2 minus 1 is minus 3. There we go, derivative. That was your before, that is your derivative. Now comes your after party. F dash x is equal to positive powers 4 plus 2 over x to the power 3 over 2 minus 2 over x to the power 3. There's your final answer, guys. There is your final answer, and you would have got full marks for that question. Guys, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, hope you guys enjoyed this explosive 1 hour, right, segment of our live show this week. We've got all your questions here. Next week, Thursday, same time. Remember, the shows are running every night from 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock on channel 347, or you can just go to hilaal.tv on Google and on the website and live stream it. Every night, 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock, and on Thursday night is our live show. We'll be tackling all these other questions next week. Guys, from our side, K-Way, I'm Mr. K, Hilaal TV, Qurtuba Online. We love you lots, and we want you to excel and to get your distinction. Destination, distinction. From my side, Mohammed Kota, and the team here in studio in Rivonia, Johannesburg, I bid you farewell and assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
في ساحة للعلم كنا نلتقي والحب والإخلاص زاد قلوبنا نمضي إلى نور اليقين ونرتقي